entire life. I'd like to change that. And in order to do that, it takes risk and it takes, a little bit of innovation, in order to see yourself differently. And I just can't jump through hoops like you're doing right now. Yeah. I can't jump through hoops for people anymore. Yeah. It's just if you don't recognize what I can bring, then don't worry about it, man. Go ahead and get the loser that you're going to hire and keep the revolving door going, and I'll go make some money for myself, and I'll probably put you out of business.
Right, and that was our premise for even starting Truth Be Told. This is kind of a catalyst for us in our own business, ventures, because this can potentially branch us all out individually as well as together. With your videos, with your music, with all type of stuff. This can potentially open the door for us. So I think this was a small step, a first step for us as far as going into business for ourselves. That's how I see it. I see Truth Be Told as a gateway.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. But what Lou is talking about is at our job, I've been qualified for a management position since I've been at that job. I think when we started the job, they said you have to be there 6 months before you can take the test.
Yes.
I took the test my second month. I just went and did it. It's an online management assessment. And I just went and logged into my account one day, and I just took the test, and I passed it. And I went to level up, and I took the next test for a higher level of management, and I passed that. I've been management ready pretty much since I started this job. And I've been passed over for promotions for various reasons, and now at the point where we're at in our job, a lot of people have been fired or let go. So there are a multitude of positions that are available. And I was interviewed for one a few weeks back. Nothing has happened. Only thing that's happened is I've got more work. I've jumped through more hoops, and that's what Lou was talking about, because there's still a part of me that tries, and it's not even for the job, it's just me. I have a very strong work ethic, and regardless of how people treat me, I still try to forge forward. I still try to push forward. And what Lou is saying is he's not doing that. He's going to give the job what it gives us, which is the bare minimum. And I can respect that. I'm not mad at him. Just for me, I have to take any little bit of hope I can get from any direction. Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason why I push. But yeah, even last night, I worked last night. I got hustled the entire night. We did not, in my area that I work in, we did not have a manager. So I covered for a lot of the work that the manager usually does. But they know I'm capable. I'm just not getting paid for it. But somebody in my position, how do you handle that?
You know exactly what they're doing, in my opinion. Now, you might have said it because you know certain terms I'm not familiar with. They won't give you a management position. That means they have to pay you more.
Right.
You're doing the management position already.
Right.
Why pay you when you're doing it?
Right. But 10, 15, 20 years ago, that was actually smiled upon a job.
Yes, it was.
That would push you forward faster. So I think a part of that sits in the back of our mind, and then the realism kicks in, like, these people aren't like that. Mm-hmm. I'm being hustled, but like I said, my work ethic is so strong, I'm not willing to just change me for them. Because I'm a hard worker in just about everything I do. Mm-hmm. So for me to pull back, I would have to try. It's more natural for me to work and get things done than it is to not work.
I understand that.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very honorable thing to have. I don't have it.
I think you had it, but you've been there longer than I have.
Yeah, and I'm going to spend my energy, my precious energy, on things that are related to me and are of interest to me,
right,
and are going to benefit me.
Right.
As I always say, I treat them with the same regard that they give me. And since they give me no regard, they get exactly back what I get. And it's interesting to see all these people who are there, who you might say it's the last stop on their train, on their train ride. They're clinging to it, like I said before, and I did a little list trying to figure out what it is that makes them do that. And I came up with a couple of ideas. Familiarity, which is what we already touched upon. Another one was fear of change. People hate change. They like things to just be the same. They want someone to tell them, okay, you got to be here at this time. You get to, eat lunch at that time. You get your break there, and then you go home at this time. oh no, you can't go on vacation now. I'll tell you when you get to go, and if I don't tell you anything, then you don't get to go. Another one that I love, and we were talking about before, was listening to bad advice. Listening to people who, tell you, hey, just hang in there, man.
Yeah.
Just, do the best you can, and it'll pay off in the end.
Those are what we like to call masses.
So, those are the people that listening to the bad advice. And another one is having doubts in one's talents, just having plain insecurity, just not being sure of oneself, which apparently Scott doesn't qualify for that one. He has a lot of belief in himself, and that's why he goes about his business the way he does. And then something that I like to bring up a lot is that the vast majority of people are sheep. They love to follow the beaten path. They have a total lack of independent thought. They just go with the flow. And if they see a crowd of people online, they just get on the line. They won't know what the line is for, but they'll just get online because everybody else is on the line, so there must be a good reason for being there. And the same with this job, or this type of job, where they'll be at the job and there's no reason for you to still be there.
Yeah.
But there they are, Another one which is huge is, of course, lack of education and training. That has a lot to do with why people have their doubts and why they have the fear of change and why they're sheep. Because if you have no education, you have no training, well, this is it. This is all I can do. So I don't want to move around because nobody's going to want me.
Right.
And then again, and the one that really hits me the hardest is a misguided sense of loyalty. People have a sense of loyalty to these jobs who really despise them, who could care less about them or their situation. And it just drives me nuts. The fact is, most of these dead-end jobs, most of these employers could care less about their workers, and I don't understand why. It baffles me to this day.
Well, business has gotten away from what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
Business used to have a point. They used to actually care about their employees taking care of their families and being able to balance the full circle and spectrum of life. Now businesses are selfish. They only see what pertains specifically to them. Are you going to be at work? What time are you going to be here? They don't care if you got kids. They don't care if you can't afford a babysitter. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is what time did your shift start? And what time did you get here? And did you do your job? Did you help somebody else do their job? The loyalty from the employer standpoint has been lost. Employers used to be loyal to their employees. They used to want good people. Now you're just looked at as a number or a time slot. We got somebody for the overnight? All right, cool. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter your skill set. And I appreciate Lou for the compliment earlier in talking about me as far as my confidence. I appreciate that I do have confidence, but there is a part of me, I'm more scared of failure. I have 2 children and a great woman that I'm with. I want to be able to support that. I want to be able, if I want to go buy them something, if I want to take them out somewhere, I want to be able to do that. And right now I can't. I can't even come close. I'm barely covering my bills. And that thought in itself drives me because I cannot see my life being what it is now long term. I would go absolutely crazy because I would feel like a failure. And that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear. More than trying and failing or not getting this or not getting that, my biggest fear is 10, 15 years from now looking down the line and having not much more than what I have now. Not expounding on the talent that I know I have. People tell me that all the time and it hurts. Man, with your personality, with your experience, I got 7 years of management experience. So when people see me and they're like, you work where? You doing what? Man, that rocks me to my core because I know they're right. I know I should be doing more. I should be doing better. And then with the people that I'm surrounded around, I have people in my family and my friends that have a good amount of success. So in my eyes, that's more pressure because I came up with these people. Some of these people, I helped them get to where they're at. How can I help them get to where they're at and I'm down here? it doesn't make sense. So it adds on to the frustration. And I just turn all my frustration into drive, into motivation. Because if I don't, I see what I'm gonna get. I see what it's gonna be. You know, you get tired of finding ways to borrow money or to pay this bill or to get that. Man, that is one of the worst thoughts. Knowing that, okay, I'm about to get my check tonight and I'm gonna probably be $60 short to handle this or to do this. Or I won't be able to take my girl here. Or I can't go buy this for my son. Or I can't go. Man, that thought, that kills me more than anything. It's not even about me anymore. It's more about all the responsibilities that I have. And that in itself, and then, and I hope we covered everything in this sector because I want to kind of use this to transition. And we were talking about this earlier too. How people treat you differently. People who have known you your whole life, they know your character, they know what type of person you are. But really, your level of success dictates who you are. Specifically, the amount of money you make, the type of job you have. Even though people know we're in a weak economy, and they know that we've lost all these jobs, and all these things are going on, a lot of people have had to cut back. In the short view, that doesn't matter. Because Lou, you were speaking about earlier, how you can give someone advice, and it goes in one ear and out the other. But if someone else gives them that same advice, it's like an epiphany from Jesus Christ himself.
Right. Oh yeah, that happens all the time. And I mean, you know, really what it comes down to me is, at least in my case, I can only speak for myself, is that I've had to learn how to be my own best friend. I'm a very good friend to other people. I like to think I am. I'm very loyal. I try to give them the best advice that I can whenever they ask me. And but as far as doing things for myself, I've always prioritized other people and other things before me.
I can allude to that as well.
And that's probably been my biggest fault up until now, up until this point in my life, is that I haven't taken care of Lou. And that's something that it's probably been the biggest challenge that I've had, frankly, because I've spent a great deal of time working on it. And sometimes I just lose myself in taking care of other people, taking care of kids, taking care of your responsibilities, and being the provider, like Scott was saying. And sometimes you got to stop beating yourself up and be a little bit selfish, like he was saying about the businesses. Same thing. It's funny. Colin Cowherd said that today on his show, talking about LeBron James. Okay. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
He was saying how like LeBron James did the selfish thing, and he said, and it worked out.
And they won the title.
It worked out for him. And he was mentioning other people that had done things for selfish reasons, and it always seemed to work out. But the people who, like Dwight Howard, who in his case, he decided to stay in Orlando and see if it could work out and see what might happen, and maybe he could help the franchise.
And now he's in a pickle.
And it blew up in his face.
Yep.
And now he's trying to get the hell out of there. He's trying to get the hell out of there as fast as he can. And really, that's what it comes down to. Sometimes you have to learn when to be selfish, and you have to learn when to go ahead and be the good company employee, and and the corporate whatever. That's not me, but that's.
I don't think it's any of us, because we all are leaders. I think that's one of the things that tie us. That's one of those unspoken qualities that we all have. We are all leaders in our own regard, and people draw the leaders. But as a leader, one of the biggest things is knowing when and when not to, and more specifically, how to. Because a good leader, you can have all the qualities and just not know how to use them.
Right.
And that's part of the process of figuring it out. And like Lou was saying, I'm piggybacking off like everything Lou was saying is true. It's completely true. And for me, it bothers me, man, because I've always been the advice giver. I've always been a lot of people's big brother or voice of influence, because I'm a person. I'm the youngest guy on the show, but as you can tell, I have an old soul. I've been through a lot. I've experienced a lot of life, and I know how to take that and transform it into words and into experiences. And these are people that I've given advice to for years, man. And now all of a sudden, when I give them advice, you can tell it goes in one ear and out the other. And it's because they've lost a certain respect for me. And they won't say it out loud,
no,
but it shows in their actions.
No.
You know, even family members, even ones that are younger than me. You know, I could used to give them advice and they would be chomping at the bit on every word I said. And now